Man, myself. So what's going on in Clown World today? Got a tweet here from HK Belvedere. Gonna go through some tweets, some Twitter. Check it out. See what's going on in Hades today. HK Belvedere. The NWO clan is dying. Not suddenly, but rather slow, painful crawl of the grave. In all honesty, it's dead on arrival. Now we're seeing its mayhem figurehead going down with a whimper. It's going down with a. Now we're seeing its main figurehead going out with a pathetic whimper. They overplayed the COVID hand, and now it's coming back to haunt them. I don't know about that, HK, but let's listen to him.
I think the fourth revolution, industrial revolution, will be in our mind for quite some years to come. But what is very essential, my concern, my deep concern, is that policies, they will escape our power to master those technologies. Because artificial intelligence, it's relatively easy, let's say, to understand how a computer functions. Of course, if I go back to the first industrial revolution, how a steam engine functions. But how does really quantum computing function? How does artificial intelligence, particularly if it's self-replicating, functions? So one of my concerns is how to shape the necessary policies to make sure that those technologies serve humankind. But the second concern which I have, and world governments have an important role, the change goes so fast in our world and will go even faster. How can we make sure that the individual, each citizen, doesn't feel overwhelmed by change because he cannot understand really what's going on? And if we do not understand, we become fearful and we react negatively. And we see the first consequences already in many countries with polarization of the public opinion. It has to do with some feeling that we lose control over our own fate.
I don't know how it's him panicking or changing tone. I think there's this. I did like it.
I think the fourth revolution, industrial revolution, will be in our mind for quite some years to come. But what is...
I think they're going full blast. The words male and female should be phased out of science because they reinforce the idea that sex is binary. It reinforces ideas that sex is binary. Scientists now suggest for the sake of inclusivity. All right. All right. I don't know what to tell you guys. This is Free the Tate's let me find this Andrew Tate thing. Basically, Andrew Tate was the court documents came out that he was framed these girls that basically knew that they were lying, and let me just, I know this kid tweeted it. So they were framed, and the cops had evidence of innocence for over 6 months. The boys are innocent. I guess these girls just like lied on purpose to get in hopes of getting like a Netflix deal, getting famous, getting some press time. So you can see down here 4/12/22 at 2:38 a.m. Tomorrow we have to wear makeup and sunglasses so nobody really knows us what or who we are or what we look like or who we are. Yeah, I guess. LOL. We are writing a movie ASAP. Yeah, girlfriend. Let's just lie on him. Believe all women. Jesus, that's exhausting. All right. Emma Gabby talking to her family. Yeah, but I can't. I'm not so concerned. Tristan doesn't really care if I leave. Come on. They think we will run back. If I leave, going because we made brothers believe we are in love. So basically, they fake. Let's email Netflix ASAP, Hulu, Prime, Amazon. For sure, oh, this is the end of that conversation. For sure, we have to. We have to get a Netflix movie. I'm dying inside. Let's email Netflix ASAP, Hulu, Amazon Prime. We made them fall in love and then believe them we're in love, and then we told them they raped us. Oh, I mean, graped us. Sorry, I didn't say. I misspoke there. Apologies. I meant grape. Talking about grapes. So that's concerning. Guys out there, I know you want to have a lot of sexual partners, but in this day and age, it's tread carefully, boys, because them hoes are out. Sharks, baby. The world is the opposite of what they tell you. A lot of privilege for one set of people, but it's not the men, I'll tell you that much. Anyways, let's get back to the more clown world stuff. CBS notes a huge increase in heart attack deaths since pandemic among the very young. Claims failure to mask and vaccinate.
Are actually
understand people?
most
That's
at risk in this case. According to Cedars-Sinai Hospital, the number of heart attack deaths among 25 to 44-year-olds in the U.S. over the first 2 years of the pandemic was 30% higher than predicted. Dr. Celine Gounder is here on set with us to talk more about it. She's editor-at-large for public health at Kaiser Health News, and she is also an infectious disease specialist and epidemiologist and a CBS News medical contributor. Dr. Gounder, thank you for being here. What stood out to you in this study?
I think the fact that you're seeing such a big increase specifically in the youngest age group, so the 25 to 44-year-olds, you saw this 30% increase in the risk of death from heart attack. And that really is quite striking. That's not an age group in which you normally see heart attacks, much less dying from a heart attack.
So to do a study like this, you look at the years prior to the pandemic and the typical rate of heart attack death in that age group, and then you see it increase, and you wonder what's the new variable. And so the pandemic is that new variable.
That's right. So these researchers looked at 10 years of data across the US, all the death certificates that get filed with the CDC, that data. And so what they saw is prior to the pandemic, heart attack deaths were actually dropping. And then that trend reverses, and you see those deaths go up, especially among that youngest age group during the pandemic.
And do we know why why younger people might be more at risk?
Yeah, why is that?
We don't know for sure. And in fact, these death certificates are probably not even capturing the fact that they might have had COVID. They're really just saying, did you die from a heart attack or not? What we do know, however, is that younger people were less likely to protect themselves against COVID than older people, less likely to mask, less likely to take other mitigation measures. And they were
'Cause you
also
didn't
farther
vaccinate.
back in line to
'Cause you didn't get your
vaccinated.
fucking Pfizer.
So they were not
You listen to
protected
me.
with vaccination until later in the pandemic.
Take your shots.
Those might have been a factor here.
So basically, I mean, you could have had perhaps
Full
a
face
mild
mask next
infection,
time.
and
For
of
all
course this is
kids.
all hypothetical, but then there might have been a lingering heart situation, heart disease.
Right. So COVID causes inflammation of
was
the blood
COVID.
vessels as well as other parts of
Duh.
the body, and also blood clots. And what we think is that a COVID infection may have actually accelerated the process of developing heart disease,
It's
what
the
we call
long
coronary
COVID.
artery
Nothing to
disease.
do with
And so
it's the long
therefore
COVID. In fact, you
accelerated
didn't get
when
vaccinated.
somebody might have had a heart attack and died
to
from a
say
heart
it.
attack.
You know, but COVID also changes
This stream
how
brought
much
to you
you
by
get out
Pfizer,
to an
baby.
exercise class, how often you see friends, maybe your level
Or
of
go get a
activity
checkup.
overall, your stress,
Yeah.
whether you see your doctor.
Yeah.
I
Go
mean,
to the doctor.
how are they ruling out or accounting for these other lifestyle changes?
We don't know. So you can't really assess that just
Oh,
from
they don't
looking
know.
at death certificates. Again, all we can say is how old were they? Did they die from a heart attack? But, you know, some of the factors.
Anybody believing these people at this point is beyond saving. Beyond saving. It's because you didn't mask and vaccinate. That's what they're telling you. Unbelievable. I mean, these people, man. Robert W. Malone, MD. Left has become the party of pro-war, pro-deep state. Come on. Pro-corporatism, pro-big pharma, pro-industrial agriculture, pro-big gov / corp partnerships, in parentheses, fascism, pro-censorship, pro-medical mandates, pro-inverted totalitarianism, pro-digital IDs, pro-globalism, and against freedom. Yeah, I mean, I think both the union parties is like that. I mean, the left is 100% on top of that, and then you got the Republican Mensheviks right behind who just are every bit of that, but just a little bit slower. And you know, maybe they do like some sort of dumbass congressional hearing and pretend like they give a single fuck about you. But rest assured, that they're both in on the pro big pharma, pro industrial agriculture, pro deep state, pro war, pro corporatism. Whatever he means by pro inverted totalitarianism, I mean, everybody's in favor of that. Digital IDs, they're all globalists. Anybody who says MGT or MTG, she's a bum. She's a bum. Getting her stocks right before she gets out. She's making crazy bread off Chevron. Believe she invested in Lockheed before this Russia stuff started. So she made out pretty well. Thomas Massey, I don't trust him. He gives cool little, monologues at the congressional hearings, but then, they're all little impotent little toads at the end of the day. Little boys, Rand Paul. All these guys they get beat up, get attacked, get shot, like Louisiana dude. Get run over, Menshevik style. Take it. Then go on. After losing every single one of these issues, they go on and talk about high THC marijuana needs to be banned or something. this is I don't know if this is true, but one of Jeffrey Epstein's child trafficking. I know that this girl's there was a New York Post article about her, and she was a victim trafficked by Epstein. Sarah Ransom. I don't know if she told the court this, but if so, be pretty incredible news. One of Jeffrey Epstein's child trafficking victims, Sarah Ransom, told the court that she made copies of tapes of high-ranking officials raping children and committing other horrific crimes. Ransom claims that the footage shows Obama and Michelle, Big Mike, having sex with the victim. If that comes out, guys, you ain't seen nothing. You thought that all those cities burning in 2020 was crazy. That comes out, whoo, and in a way that I don't know, that most of the lobotomized, I don't even know how they take it at this point. I think they probably just not believe it, even if CNN was reporting it. At this point, I don't even know how people would react. Woke educators are banning urinals to make transgender students feel more comfortable. Trains can't run on the damn tracks anymore, but they're taking away the urinals out of the student bathrooms so that the trans people can feel good. So, FYI, guys. Pfizer patent granted in 2021 for cellular telecommunication. Let's look at this. U.S. patent 111075888 B2, August 31st, 2021. Systems and methods, abstract, systems and methods for anonymously selecting subjects for treatment against infection against disease by pathogen. System comprises plurality of electronic devices comprising instructions to generate an ID, and when in proximity of another such electric device, one or both electric devices receive the ID from the other device. Then a score is generated based on the plurality of such received IDs. Additionally, based on information received from the server, relevant treatment. So basically, it's a chip in your body. Pfizer patent application was approved August 31st, 2021, and it's the very first patent that shows up in this list of over 18,500 for the purpose of remote contact tracing of all schmaxinated humans. I probably shouldn't be saying these words, so I'm going to have to say different words. You know what I'm saying when I say schmaxinated. Humans worldwide who will be or are now connected to the Internet of Things, in quotes, by a quantum link of pulsating microwave frequencies of 2.4 gigahertz or higher from cell towers and satellites directly to the graphene oxide held in the fatty tissues of all persons who've had the Smith-Schmott. Schmeiser patent granted in 2021 for cellular tower communication with graphene schminchected humans worldwide. Schmeiser Schmatent 111075888 B2. Not good. Not good. Not good, yes. Unidentified objects I was talking about yesterday. White House now admitting the objects were commercial or benign. Commercial or benign. These Yellowstone is like a Kevin Costner thing. You know, a lot of, I don't know, like Black Rifle Coffee right wingers. I don't know if you call them right wingers. Black Rifle Coffee Republicans, I guess you call them, or some. Tried to get back to where I was. There we go. So these Yellowstone is like, I guess, pretty like I've seen some clips have gone viral on different social media things, especially Twitter, of like super leftist talking points and monologues in like shows like what Yellowstone, talking about like just like straight up propo stuff, which I guess people who watch the show love it. I don't know. I'm not involved. I don't know anybody who watches Yellowstone except for like I listen to, I don't know, maybe Joe Rogan or Brendan Schaub listens to it, and that's about as close a proximity as I have to somebody who watches the show, and that's not close. I still get a little, and so they're making it. It's become a meme, like these pictures of Kevin Costner or of different, I guess, characters in the show, and then people are just making memes, obviously, of like, I still get teary-eyed when I see her whipping in the wind. I'll tell you one thing, son. These colors don't run. And it's a trans flag. And they don't run, baby. They conquer. I'll tell you what. They colonize better than... Shoot. They conquer, man. Manifest destiny out here. That flag's doing business. This American flag, getting run over. But these memes are funny. I don't know if you call these memes, but I love my wife, but there's one man on God's green earth I'd give her a hall pass for, and that's Vladimir Zelensky. I mean, and the point is basically, quote, conservatives or Republicans, Black Rifle Coffee drinkers, guys who drink bourbon and, you know, LARP about, I don't know, whiskey and guns and military and thin blue line. Not the military's bad, or, you know, I mean, I'm pretty anarcho-capitalist at this point, so I don't know that I see that much positive influence from police, but I think that, I mean, if you're going to have a nation state, you should probably have them. And them be, I don't want to get into that. We win. This is Sam Hyde. I don't know if you know anything, you know Sam Hyde is kind of the GOAT of like right-wing memes, because so this guy, he broke in, gave a real TED talk, but it was, I mean, it was like he not pranked his way into it, but like fudged his way into it, which, I mean, I thought it was a better TED talk than most TED talks I've ever heard. So I think Sam Hyde's a great speaker, and he honestly should be invited back. The fact that he hasn't is a disgrace to TED Talks. But at least he went once, and I think that's kind of how he first became on the scene, and then he's been a comedian since, and he's a he's just very memeable because people like to just say, or just show, like whenever there's a mass shooting, a lot of people will show pictures of him, and then describe him, and then like senators and stuff have been like retweeting it before, and it's like clearly a fake, like lying stuff, and these, you know, highly informed politicians supposedly, I don't believe that, but you know what I'm saying, are retweeting it and saying we got to get this guy investigated because, you know, the right wingers will say like he's dangerous white supremacist. So obviously Congress wants that to be true if it's narrative. But when we win, do not forget that these people want you broke, dead, your kid raped, and brainwashed, and they think it's funny. Yeah. Yep. So DC Drano, how Governor Mike DeWine says railroad requested the controlled release of the toxic chemicals. Norfolk Southern's top shareholders include BlackRock, Vanguard, told. Wasn't there somebody else who was there? I don't know why he didn't include the third. I don't know if it was State Street, but it's BlackRock, Vanguard, and no, I'm not seeing it. Told the government how they wanted the disaster handled. So basically, they wanted it burned. It probably should have been burned. I heard it's a whole lot worse for the soil. If it gets into the soil, it can ruin the soil permanently versus it evaporates and dilutes into the air quicker if it's burned off. I don't know. That's what I was hearing. Even though it was, I mean, it's obviously an insane disaster. And it's funny that, you know, the climate savers, all the climate savers, and, you know, the quote environmentalists, but people who don't care at all about the environment, you know, they blow up Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline in the middle of an ocean, hundreds of thousands of gallons of gas just running out into the ocean, all over the wildlife, environmentalists, EPA, you know, let alone that's, you know, that's a war crime. And I mean, it's absurd. Plus, you've got this, you know, multiple train derailments with hazardous material in them, like this Ohio one. You have the one in Texas, the one in Louisiana, the one in South Carolina. You know, and we just spent $1 trillion on, or I mean, we know we didn't spend $1 trillion, but $1 trillion of your tax money went towards an infrastructure bill, and obviously that money's not getting spent on anything except for the huge, which is corruption and bullshit. Cars, personal enrichment. And so we have the EPA, the environmentalists, you know, the party of the climate, the ones who are trying to save the climate, supposedly totally quiet on this massive chemical burn off and safety, environmental catastrophe in the middle of our country, and nobody's around to say a word. So next time they start talking about the environment, remember that stuff. So Valentine's Day was
We had
yesterday.
Chili's, me and my crew, and them on side of me. She wanted to order something. Her man said, "You can't get that. I don't have enough money for that." Ain't no motherfucking way. Ain't no way. My husband would take me to Chili's, and I can't get what the fuck I want. This ain't even real Chris. This Chili's. Everything is $18 and under. So I'm mad with him. I'm definitely mad with him for treating that woman like that. She need to run. This video is so sad, so disappointing to see. And you know, today is Valentine's Day. Times are hard for a lot of people. There's a lot of couples out there that can't afford to go out to eat tonight. And I know how that feels. I've been that man. I've had a woman that I love very much break up with me because I was young, I was broke, and she wanted to be with somebody rich. I know how that feels, and it's heartbreaking. But you had to go, you had to say this so loud because you intentionally want that man to hear you. You want to shame him. And then you go and you post it online. For what? For people to make fun of him? So you can feel good about yourself? How about you be grateful that you have enough money to buy what you want on that menu, to take care of your friends, your loved ones, instead of shaming this man? I can't believe people think this is okay to do to another human being today. You need to do better.
Yeah, that's 100%. I mean, you feel for that young king, who's, you know, trying to take the old girl out for Valentine's Day. You know, he's trying to make it, man. And got these people, you know, trying to make him a meme while he's taking his girl out. It's like, just because he can't afford a fucking something, you know, you got to call him a brokey. And that's where, I mean, I don't. I mean, I think the Tates are innocent. And I like the Tates for the most part, except for when they start talking about how they like slaves and how there needs to be NPCs and slaves on this planet. And who's going to be your barista and stuff like that. And it's like, well, maybe if every coffee shop wasn't the same Globo Corp owned bullshit, you'd have the barista wouldn't be some low wage barista. It would be maybe the owner of a small cafe, and you're loyal to him, and he makes great coffee, and he's not some NPC because he owns a shop. He also makes coffees as well. There's nothing wrong with making coffees like that. You know, there's nothing wrong with being a person who makes things that people use. And so that's when Tate started talking about, well, you need to have baristas and you need to have waiters and waitresses. It's like, well, you know, if all the money isn't fake, you know, he's talking about money being fake, you know, governments being out to this, that, and next, all of which is true. But if you understood that, you would know that there was a time when, you know, small business and ownership of, you know, small local stores and service based businesses was a commonplace, as opposed to giant box stores, you know, and your Globo, you know, corporate mush sandwiches and, you know, coffees from, you know, Starbones and Dunkos and Mickey's and burgers, and, you know, you can get your pink paste and your burnt, you know, roasted beans and this, that, and the next. And, you know, you can make fun of your low wage worker, or you can ask why everything is being monopolized by a few massive supranational corporations and institutions. And that's a direct outcome of the fake money printing and giving out, you know, the fake money, the 0% interest rate money, the grant money, the all the budget money. That's trillions and trillions of dollars. And when you can lead that capital in the direction that you choose towards your favorite large corporations, then they're obviously going to have the ability to monopolize and dominate and vertically integrate the entire marketplace and industry that they're in. And so that's why you have so many, that's not, I think you would always have large corporations, but they wouldn't have the same absolute advantage. It wouldn't be a competitive. It's not a competitive advantage. It's an absolute advantage. And they wouldn't have that same advantage if the money were, more stable, more real, more honest. Bitcoin is kind of in that direction, but I think it's still kind of a little too confidence and fiat based. I like the idea of having some sort of backing or comparison, like a gold standard type of thing. I don't like a Bitcoin standard because Bitcoin standard is just based on confidence in Bitcoin, which I guess gold is as well, but at least there's some tangible, fungible property behind it. Which I think you could do you can make a digital product has some sort of standard like that. And you can get more honest money, and then you can get more honest and real businesses as opposed to this fake capitalism. It's really fascism, socialism that they call capitalism so that they have something to blame on the people that they disenfranchise around every corner when they're literally stealing your money through inflation, money printing, which is inflation, through taxation, 87,000 new IRS agents. So a lot of ways to get you. And it starts with money, and it ends up with all these global, massive multinational brands and corporations that own everything. And so you have the illusion of choice, but you don't really have any choice at all. And you have a bunch of BS product that is just designed to kill you and bring in massive returns for shareholders of these select few. And the cycle goes on, and it gets worse and worse. And then you have these faux freedom lovers. I don't want to say faux. I like Tate says all the right things except for the loving slaves and thinking that people should be, thinking that you should have subservient people in the world. I think you're always going to have people who are not as intellectually capable, but does that mean they should be any less deserving of, an honest life and a sovereign life? No, they should have just as much sovereignty as the richest man on earth. And that's what I don't think. That's why I don't like a lot of these new guys. I like them, but I don't think that. I don't know. It's just like pushing, like emptiness, cars, money. Money's not empty, but cars and many females instead of spending wealth on, building an empire, building your own city, not promiscuous sex with a bunch of different girls, making a family with a bunch of kids. And then, that's why then, maybe you are Islamic and you got a couple mistresses in the back, but, spending that wealth on creating an empire, I think is real, and bringing up, your people and your nation is imperative. Making sure everybody is capable is imperative. You're only as strong as your weakest link. So being, and it is a dog eat dog world and everybody can't make it and stuff like that. I get that, but I don't know that means we should have slaves and there should be NPCs and I don't know. I mean, a lot of what he says is just to get people riled up. So I don't really think that he thinks that. I think he would refute what I'm saying now if he was listening to this. But that's my qualm with what I've heard him say. But obviously the witch hunt is insane. I was a fan of the guy before he actually became like a TikTok dude. He used to be on InfoWars for many, many years. I think he was on like 2016 or before. And, he's been on since. So I've known about him and I've liked what he's had to say. But he also threw Alex Jones kind of under the bus in his Piers Morgan interview. He's like saying that he doesn't really know Alex Jones, and Piers was asking him about Sandy Hook, and he was like, "Well, I'm not gonna, I don't know Alex, so did this and the next." I don't remember exactly what it was, but he was really distancing himself from Alex. I remember that being the theme. I'm like, this guy's the first guy that ever had you on like a podcast or anything like that before you ever got on Your Mom's House or any of these NPC loser podcasts. I guess some of the guys that he's been on, Rich Cooper isn't that bad, but a lot of these guys, it's like you're on these joke podcasts and you say if Jackie had reached out to you sooner about calming your message down, you would have done it to stay in their good graces. It's like, that's sussy, bro. Sussy. And not giving a shout out to Alex, man, that's sussy too. Alex is the original Andrew Tate. He's the real deal. Like, I know he's, into his supplements and stuff, a little hardcore, but I mean, I think he's more real. I mean, he's been saying the same things that Tate said. I mean, I think Tate was just channeling Alex Jones and, putting his own hose and cars spin on it. And, that's cool, but you gotta give love to the bruv who put you on in the first place and who paved the path. But whatever. Video surfaces of Epstein Island clients. Obama's giving up. Medal of Honor to everybody. All these diddlers. Anyways. Who has an urgent who is the WHO, World Health Organization? If you don't know that, urgent Marburg meeting yesterday about this Marburg virus, which is, I guess, deadly, but super deadly, but not very contagious. So, anyways, I'm gonna end the stream here. Might try to get on later on, but didn't get to everything I wanted to, but hope you enjoyed a little bit. kind of got carried off on some tangents, which I didn't intend to. And don't give me about Andrew Tate heat. I fucks with the dude. I think his messages are almost all on point. I think that my qualms are much different than any of these these little ho boys like Dave Portnoy want to have. And more with just keeping, you got to represent for all the bruvs. Make sure you're not a slave bruv. Having any slaves means you could be a slave soon. Having any bad prisoners means you could be a bad prisoner soon. And that's where he finds himself, as an unjust prisoner. So you can go along yourself, but if shit's not right for all of us, then they're going to get you, man. So it is what it is, man. Free Tate, obviously. My man's in prison unfairly, unjustly. And, but, yeah. Also, we're not trying to have slaves and, I want my baristas not to be NPCs. And I don't want them to be baristas. I want them to be the little cafe owners. And I don't want Starbonesies and donkeys on every corner. I want, the local cafe. I want maybe some Dominican beans at this spot, some Honduran beans at this spot, some classic morning brew beans that there's a lot of good coffee shops out there. I think I don't want to. Again, I've already gone over this, and when the money's fake, it's hard to compete as far as margins, profit, and just keeping your cost of goods down to a point where you can compete price-wise on products with any of these major, Globo Corps. So, anyways, that's the stream. Hope you enjoyed. I'll be back. Peace.